For years, it felt like I was fighting something. A shadow, a force, a pattern that followed me from room to room, face to face, heartbreak to heartbreak. I called it the devil. Not the horned figure of childhood warnings, not fire and brimstone. The devil, for me, was subtler. It was the whisper that said, be smaller, be louder, be wanted, be needed, be anything but yourself. It never arrived as evil. It came as charm, as ambition, chemistry, or urgency, as the intoxicating promise that this time would be different. The music would start softly, a familiar ache, a bruise from an old wound, pressed just enough to feel alive. And I would step onto the floor. I danced in relationships where I confused intensity for love. I danced in rooms where I performed competence while shrinking my truth. And I danced with praise that fed my ego and criticism that hollowed my worth. Round and round. The rhythm was addictive, familiar, predictable in its unpredictability. That is the nature of the dance. It feels like power until you realize you are not leading. The devil does not drag you across the floor. It offers its hand. Just once more. Just a little compromise. Just one more silence when you should speak. Just one more time betraying yourself to keep the peace. And so I took the hand because belonging felt safer than honesty, because being chosen felt safer than standing alone, and because survival had trained my body to move before my heart could speak. But here is what I did not understand then. The devil feeds on unconsciousness. It grows stronger in the dark corners of unexamined wounds. It thrives where shame lives. And it multiplies where self-trust has been abandoned. You see, the dance floor is a loop. Different partner, same choreography. Different job, same exhaustion. Different promise, same ache. I called it fate. I called it bad luck. I even called it love. But it was a dance I had memorized. And the day I grew still, everything changed. There was no dramatic collapse, no thunder in the sky. There was silence. For the first time, I did not move when the music began. I felt the tightening in my chest, the pull towards familiar chaos, the adrenaline disguised as desire. And I stayed seated. You see, the devil cannot dance alone. It requires your fear, your agreement, your belief that you are incomplete. When I stopped reacting, I saw clearly the devil was never a being. It was the ego in survival mode. A frightened part of me convinced that control meant safety, that competition equaled worth, And that love had to be earned through endurance. The ego is not evil. It is afraid. But fear, without awareness, can turn into something ravenous. It can make you trade compassion for control, connection for conquest, and presence for performance. It can make you forget that your heart knows the rhythm better than your mind. The devil also wore faces. The partner who drained me, the boss who diminished me, the friend who betrayed me, the voice in my own head that said, just try harder. They were not demons. They were mirrors. Each one reflecting the place where I still believed I had to abandon myself to be loved. Each one exposing the places I had not yet healed. And then I learned something extraordinary. The dance ends when you stop needing the music, when stillness feels safer than chaos, when peace feels more seductive than adrenaline, when your heart sets the tempo. The life force energy within us, the quiet current moving beneath thought, does not shout, it hums. It is steady, it is patient, it does not compete. When I reconnected with that current, the false music lost its grip. Intensity stopped feeling like destiny. Chaos stopped feeling like chemistry. Self-betrayal stopped feeling romantic. I realized the battle was never between me and darkness. It was between fear and awareness. And awareness does not fight. It illuminates. You do not conquer the devil. You outgrow the dance. You step off the floor and you feel your feet on solid ground. You remember that you were never meant to follow music that required you to fracture yourself. Your true self lives in the quiet between beats, in the breath you take instead of reacting, in the compassion you extend instead of competing, in the boundaries you hold instead of collapsing. You have not lost your spark.